Let me apologize for starting the program a little bit behind schedule. Fellow, thank you for joining the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. I'd like to invite you to another special edition of the program on the 29th of May 2017 as we do a midterm appraisal of President Muhammadu Buhari's government. Venue is our studio here at number 1 Continental Way off CMD Road, Ikoyi, Ketu, Lagos, Nigeria. Time is 4 p.m. To hang out with us on that day, just send your name, phone number, and location to journalisthangout@tvcnews.tv. journalisthangout@tvcnews.tv or 0032645899. 0032645899. I look forward to receiving you then. Today on the Journalist Hangout, former head of service Stephen Orasoye floors the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, suspended NIA DG, NSA, CBN, Governor, EFCC boss Sean Rep's invitation on Ikoyi Gate scandal, and later on the Hangout, federal government increases funding for amnesty program. I'll be joined by Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Yomi Olomofe, and Dari. So if you're ready, let the Hangout start now. On March the 15th, 2016, Nigeria newspaper published screaming headlines that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had arraigned a former head of service of the Federation, Stephen Orasoye, before a high court in Abuja. His charge bordered on criminal breach of trust. It was about the biggest news of the day. Months into the case, the EFCC coughed again. On Tuesday, the High Court discharged Orasoye for all the charges filed against him. The judge said that the EFCC had no case against him. This is another embarrassing loss that the EFCC has incurred in recent time. Disappointingly, the anti-graft agency took its usual uninspired rhetoric: "We will appeal." With this flip-flopping, will President Muhammadu Buhari anti-corruption campaign yield any results at this way if EFCC is going about prosecuting their cases this way? Let's take the background of Steve Orasoye. He was the head of service under, was it Mori Yaradua or Olusegun Obasanjo? I think Mori Yaradua.
It was Obasanjo's
okay.
Principal secretary.
Principal secretary.
Yes. And then Obasanjo made him head of service later on.
So, for this particular case now, he was acquitted.
Yes, he headed the Presidential Committee on Financial Action Task Force. And there, the EFCC accused him of stealing some money. But when they got to court, they couldn't even establish that this was the amount kept in his care. So if you cannot establish that this was the amount kept in his care, how did you discover how much he stole? So what the judge said was that there were too many contradictory assertions. You start a case on a 2-count charge, you move on to 7-count charge. It is the tradition of the EFCC to put someone on trial and then begin to look for evidence. Listen to what the judge said. He said the court of trial must, as a matter of law, discharge him because it has no business counting for evidence that is nowhere to be found. I am unable to see any justification for this case. A friend of mine who works in the Federal Civil Service told me just last week that Orasoye will be freed. He said he committed absolutely no offense, and that it was a cabal in the Federal Civil Service that put Orasoye in this mess. Because Orasoye headed the committee that was mandated to reform the civil service. And Orasoye came up with the decision that PAMSECs should have their I mean, should be tenured. Because a PAMSEC can actually be on that position for up to 10, 15 years. And when that happens, those below them will be stunted. Some of them will be forced to, you can't make progress. So he said, no, you can have 2 terms and just leave. Not that you just remain there in perpetuity. A lot of these PAMSEC, they are very powerful, they are very rich, you know.
Billionaires.
Some of them are almost richer than Nigeria. They were embarrassed by what this man, what he came up with, and they continued to fight him. The next thing, you heard that Rosaye was being put on trial. It's similar to what happened to Abdulrasheed Maina. Abdulrasheed Maina recovered 191 billion from Nigeria, from pension thieves. In 1 year, Abdulrasheed, that money was put in the 2012 budget of Nigeria. In fact, it was Okonjo-Iweala that confirmed it. Before we knew, the Senate started probing Abdulrasheed Maina. Today, the pension thieves that Abdulrasheed Maina identified, including one of them, one Shuaibu Taidi, that they found 4 billion naira cash in his house. They are walking free in Nigeria. Abdulrasheed Maina is out of Nigeria, is a fugitive. Facing possible assassination, and then the Senate succeeded in demonizing him. Today, when Nigerians are talking about pension thieves, it is Abdulrasheed Maina that they mention. Meanwhile, the pension thieves that he discovered, some of them were making 300 million in 1 day. Nobody talks about those people. They are walking about free. One of them was put on trial. And in his car boot, instead of the judge to send him to jail, he gave him an option of fine. He opened his car boot right in the court premises and walked away free. Like but the person who exposed the pension thieves, we turned against him as a people. He's the one who they succeeded in chasing him away. I see people abuse Abdulrasheed Maina all the time, accusing him of being a thief. Nobody is saying that he probably, I mean, he was a saint. Maybe, just maybe, because even that was not really proven by any court. Maybe in the process of doing his work, he helped himself to some of the money. But people who were found, a person found with 4 billion naira cash, pension thieves, all of them, till today, they are walking around free.
Yomi, I'm worried because I remember vividly when this Steve Orosoye was paraded. Yes, when he was paraded in court. And there's this thing in our law that the person is innocent until proven guilty. But the modus operandi of the EFCC is like you are guilty until you prove your innocence. Because there's a way, they have their media session, very, very vibrant media session. They have their photographer, they have their still photographer, and they have their video recorders. If your TV station wasn't present at the trial, there's a way EFCC will get you the tape. Yes, they have their media section there so that you can make, they will even ask you, do you have the tape, so that you can play it to show how that person is either, you know, in handcuffs or anything. So there's this much homework for media to put it in the media and to make it headlines. Newspaper want to sell their own.
You see, Ayo, it is an unfortunate it is an unfortunate thing when you leave diligence for razzmatazz, or when you prefer razzmatazz over diligence. And what this will always culminate in is the kind of disgrace that EFCC just experienced with the striking out, with the dismissal of
no case of mission. The guy refused to enter defense.
If you fail to look at a case on its merit, examine the legal integrity, the legal implications of it before rushing, you know, to the court, you're going to get embarrassed in the court, you know. And again, you want to begin to look at motives. What was the motive for the loud and celebrated noise over the arrest and the arraignment of the former head of Service of the Federation? You find that at every time, all the time, nearly all the time, people are only playing out scripts some agenda of
Hold
certain
your thoughts
folks.
there. Let me quickly take this commercial break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. This is Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and we are looking at the acquittal of former head of service, Steve Arasoye. Jomi,
Yeah.
you were making your point before we went
saying,
to the
what
break.
I'm trying to say, in essence, is that time has come for EFCC to realize that it's not an agency that is set up to make a lot of razzmatazz on the TV, on the pages of newspapers, on radio. Let some serious due diligence be done on every case before it is brought to the public domain. You are in a hurry to bring somebody to the... If some of these people who are getting discharged and acquitted begins to slam EFCC for, you know, for messing up their integrity and reputation, where will they put their faces? No. And this banal argument...
We won't go bankrupt.
I mean, where will they... So all of this banal argument about appealing. How can you appeal a matter that has no substance? You are not able to tie a person to a crime. How do you want him to be punished for that crime? So my take on all of this...
You want judges to do them a favor.
My take on all of this is that time has come for EFCC to understand that it's not an entertainment agency. It's not a comedy-driven agency. I know Nigerian is interested in, you know, some of the high-profile noise they make each time there is some snippet, you know, at the expense of due diligence. You know, now the pronouncement only goes to show us that we are in a country where sensitive office holders only want to, you know, walk to the answer.
Dari, my own is, let's look at prosecution. We're leaving the media trial now. Those prosecutors, if somebody has the luxury of affording the likes of Kano Agabi for the defendant, and EFCC will rely on in-house lawyers. Sometimes they barely can afford to pay the likes of Festus Kayamo, Wahab Shitu, some of other my friends. Not discounting the fact that these are very good lawyers, but the problem, we can't match, EFCC cannot match, you know, lawyer to lawyer, the experience for experience in the kinds of cases they put forward. I don't know, maybe you get my point.
I quite do, and it's worrisome. It's worrisome in the sense that I think, to start with, this should be like the fourth or so in a row.
It's going to counting.
I mean, it's quite embarrassing.
Oh, even, what's his name? Osekome said he has defeated the EFCC 9 times in 1 year.
So for me, I think
9 times.
I'm sure EFCC has got a prosecution department. Maybe they need to sit up. Maybe they need to go beyond mere rhetorics. Oh, we caught him, we found billions in his boot, and then we are rushing him to court. I think there should be some diligence. This obviously has been missing, and that is what is leading to this kind of scenarios. They are now repeating itself and embarrassing the entire anti-corruption crusade of this regime. For me, in a situation where judges have to keep telling FCC lack of diligent prosecution. That is fast becoming a grammar we hear every time.
Relative to
EFCC. So what is the prosecution unit of this anti-corruption agency doing? And if over time it has been discovered that they've not been able to prosecute cases appropriately, isn't there a way we could, beef up the place, do the proper... I'm saying this before we come to the issue of lawyers, because the law is the law. Whoever is the lawyer who's going to court, the law is the law. If you have a team...
If you have a good case, they will win.
You have a good case, you win. And what makes a good case? The way a case is
quality of prosecution.
Yes. If you don't,
and that's why I feel the lawyer, either internal or external, will have to rely on the prosecution unit for materials to use, to fight a case, where that unit or those saddled with such responsibility are more interested in. And maybe some people are fast forgetting that in Nigeria, we still I mean, we are practicing a situation where he who alleges must prove. There are countries, I know that in France, once you are taken to court, it is your duty to prove your innocence.
Exactly.
Whoever alleges you don't have to prove. You go there to prove. You are assumed to be guilty until you prove that you are. But in Nigeria, it's the other way around. So they need to sit up.
Yes, Usman is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Usman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ozumbaku.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Babajide Encyclopedia. Good day, sir.
Thank you. I greet you.
Yes. Hello?
Hello, go on.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, I beg to disagree with your discussion today.
Okay, it's allowed.
It's unfortunate that you people are vilifying EFCC. I think EFCC is the worst organization that have never done anything. You have to give that organization credit. This commission is the only commission in this country, and I stand against all contradiction. It's the only commission in this country that has so much conviction more than any other agency since the creation of Nigeria in 1914. No any agency can boast of, and this commission is only 13 years. And all the commission, all the criminal investigation, the conviction she gets, no any agency in this country have ever recorded such feat. Then why are you not verifying? Because of one single case that can go to appeal. Now, if tomorrow this case has been overturned in the course of appeal, will you bury your faces in shame?
Okay.
The court of appeal can say that the judge has erred. Every time we'll be hearing that the trial judge have erred in law.
All right, Usman, maybe you will have to allow us to kind of enlighten you on this.
Usman, nobody has vilified the EFCC because of one case. If you are current, you will know that EFCC took the Speaker of Lagos State to court.
Yes.
He defeated them. EFCC took Hassan Lawal, former Minister of Works, to court. They were defeated. In fact, the judge abused them that they didn't do a serious job. The EFCC took the governor of Ekiti State to court. They were defeated. The EFCC took Abdulaziz Muritala and Yako to court. They were defeated. The EFCC has lost 9 times in 1 year to just one lawyer. And you want me to stay here and be praising them. The thing is, who has defended Magu the way we have done? I've not seen this program. On this program, we have defended Magu more than some of my friends. I've had to fight my friends. But the nature of
someone that we have anything to do with Magu.
The nature of someone like me is that when you deserve to be condemned, I will condemn you. I will not bury my head in shame because I know that the EFCC, what you don't even know, you that you are pressing the EFCC to high heavens, what you don't know is that most of those cases, they don't eventually even appeal. Did they appeal? Yeah. Look at Dimeji Lawal defeated EFCC. Did they appeal? Dimeji Bankole. They didn't appeal now. You mess up people's image. They go to court for years. At the end of the day, you can't present
evidence. They win at the lower court, you leave it hanging.
What have they done now? You kept Suswam in detention for
how many days?
2 months. About 2 months, you are fishing for evidence. That is not how it is done anywhere.
When are we going to grow up as a nation? Defeated EFCC.
Look at them. Look at even the funny thing.
It changes.
They had only one witness that they were banking on. The witness at the last minute said that the evidence that they took from him was taken under duress. They had no other thing to do. The judge. Do you remember what the former Chief Judge of Nigeria, Justice Mohammed, said? He said prosecution is like building a house. If your foundation is faulty, you come crashing down. Elsewhere, the focus is on diligent prosecution, not for people to be shouting in the media your name. What the EFCC needs to do at this point is to go and get. They can even get chartered prosecutors. There are some lawyers. That is what they
need.
Are we aware now that till now the Metropolitan Police, they are still investigating our former minister, Desenia, asked Alison Madueke.
After
7 months, they are yet to perfect the prosecution.
They don't come to court.
Yes,
until they are sure.
She has not been paraded, and they just withdraw her passport.
And we know here, when of us are talking here, that she stole the whole
she's under investigation.
And she's yet to be.
Until they get a good case, they will not present her.
James Onanefe was prosecuted with 10 million pounds.
I mean, and they did a good job.
Pounds.
You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about before the call. Every case starts with prosecution. It's like he said, it's a process of building something. Your foundation must be, but in Nigeria, where we know very well that those who are alleging should prove.
Remember what the judge said about the Fayose matter?
Yes.
He said that the judge, the one when they lost at the appeal, the judge said that the EFCC, the judge at the lower court said the EFCC never told him that the person who's that when they sought the freezing of the account, that they never told him that the account belonged to somebody who had immunity. Because when you bring up a case, against someone who has immunity, that means you are putting him on trial.
Yes. I mean,
because you already
ought not to do that.
When you seize freeze his account,
he's on trial.
You started a case against him.
Yes.
So the judge said they did not tell him that the person whose account they sought
the state government
is ordered to freeze was somebody who had immunity.
After
so it was easy for the appeal court to throw it away.
After the account
you can't enter any kind of
he now deposited money in Ozekume's account,
and they now see where the head to go and
saying that money is a proceed of crime.
Then we went after his proof and paraded him and tried him in the media. At the end of the day,
we at journalists Hangout, are out to enlighten Nigerians, to tell the truth, no matter whose horse is God. We do not belong to any side. We are not politicians. We don't belong to APC. We don't belong to PDP. Where you are wrong, we will tell you. Yesterday we still talked about the APC national chairman. That is not providing leadership. It is there for everyone to see.
It's laid back.
We've supported Magu every step of the way. Nobody can come now and say that we hate the EFCC.
It's time to tell him, look, you are weak in this area.
Let me quickly take this break.
And they should do it better.
Yes.
All right, let's go for this break. We'll come back after this time out. Welcome back. Even during the break, we were still discussing this EFCC matter. It's very, very emotional.
Usman came to provoke us. He's our friend, but he's provoking us.
Usman, you have the right to dissent. Yes.
Usman, you don't like the EFCC more than I do.
I think it's all about what they do. When these people started out, diligent prosecution,
they were good,
prosecute people and everything.
Now they need to stick to that diligence.
Yes. If
they need to downplay razzmatazz. They need to downplay media trials.
When they put Bukola Saraki on trial, did we condemn
persecution?
They had some form of readiness. They were ready.
We didn't condemn them when they put
Bukola
Saraki on trial.
The issue here is that EFCC shouldn't rush to trial if they are not ready.
You have already given the example of Desiane. As far as we are concerned in Nigeria, Desiane is the biggest thief in Nigerian history.
And those who allege are still gathering their facts.
They're still looking for facts. And over there, they are
walking the street free over there.
All right, I think I have a call. But WK2.
Yes, what is to hear?
Oh, WK is an EFCC lawyer. WK, nice to have you on the show.
Let's hear you.
Thank you.
Let's hear you.
Thank you. I think the first goal of you there for your patriotic discussion. The issue you're examining today is very, very important. And my own perspective to it is that we should all resolve to emphasize efficient and effective investigation.
Investigation.
1. Efficient and effective prosecution.
Yes.
And lastly, efficient and effective adjudication.
Yeah.
That's the key. Because you see, in any of these process, at the stage of investigation, a corruption case is capable of being compromised.
Yes, we know.
At the stage of prosecution, a corruption case
is also capable of being compromised.
Yes.
At the stage of adjudication, a corruption case may also be compromised. So the key to all of this is not whether somebody, if a case is bad, it is bad.
Yes.
Whether or not the other party engages 90 senior advocates of Nigeria. I will recall that the case of Kitafa versus EFCC, in which I was on the other side, you will say my rating as a lawyer is very low compared to the like of about 90 senior advocates who are on the other side. But they lost that case because the case was bad. Not because I'm more outstanding than any of those senior advocates. So what I will say is that I salute you for your discussion. But you see, what we need to do about EFCC is to look at the statistics. How many convictions have been recorded by EFCC during the tenure of Magu? How many losses have been suffered? I think what we should emphasize is that the anti-graft agencies must be thoroughly funded so that they can afford the services of the best lawyers.
Okay,
They can afford services.
Thank you, WK.
So, all in all, it is good
WK, we don't have the whole time.
Thank
you, Wahab Shitu. Wahab Shitu is our friend. He's a lawyer in the University of Lagos, a law lecturer at the University of Lagos.
And he does cases for EFCC.
Yes, and he's a prosecutor with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
I think he made the point.
Yes.
Without
investigation, prosecution, and adjudication.
He knows what we are talking about.
Yeah.
And he was objective.
Yes.
We cannot praise an agency that has such a track record of failure, especially in the big cases. When they talk about EFCC recording so many convictions, they are not convictions of the politically exposed persons. They are convictions of Yahoo boys and other small boys.
Or bankers.
Yes, it's easy to convict those ones. But the politically exposed persons who can hire the right lawyers, because you look at Kanu Agabi, he's not a weak lawyer, for God's sake. Even Bukola Saraki has gone to hire him. If a lawyer is good, the lawyer is good. He will do a good job for you.
He can look
and he will identify the loopholes.
Gentlemen,
That's the thing.
Our second topic is very close to this one. Now, on Tuesday, the House of Representatives, that is, invited the suspended Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, that is IOK, National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, and acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to appear before it to clear the air of confusion surrounding the ownership of the recovered money in Lagos House. When it was time for it to be invited, guests to arrive, none of them showed up. Puzzled by this seeming act of defiance, the House has given them 24 hours ultimatum to appear before it or face dire consequences. What is really going on? I think this case, while in one hand, the Vice President is dealing with it, and the Vice President is dealing with it, the acting President is, is also the Vice President right now dealing with it. And on the other hand, the National Assembly, which they want to exercise this kind of oversight function, that is the House of Rep, they also have jurisdiction over this thing. Jide, what is going on?
It's the timing of these interventions that I quarrel with. The matter is still being handled, by the presidential committee. Why not wait? If the outcome, if you are against the outcome, you can now begin begin your own investigation and expose the fact that they did a shoddy job. That Oshibajo did a shoddy job. You are even look at what even the Senate was doing at the same time that Babashir Lawal was facing Oshibajo. They were inviting him to come and face them.
But Jide, it's as if the Senate did a good job. With the Sani's committee, they exposed some other things that other committee.
Remember, I'm not saying they didn't do a good job. Yeah. We have praised their work here because we are unbiased. We praise their work here. We may not like the Senate as a group.
But they may not like the leadership.
We may not. No. Even the Senate as a group, what have they done to? It's not just the leadership. So the apostle of unprovoked dancing, for example, is not among the leadership of the Senate, but is a distasteful character. Yes, it's not a part of the leadership.
Isn't that the fellow? Isn't that the fellow representing?
Is the apostle of unprovoked dancing.
We said it yesterday, but I think we don't.
Isn't that the fellow representing?
May God give you that kind of person to represent. Now, the truth is, let these other people finish their work. Because you are distracting them. They are facing this man, you are calling them on all sides. It seems now that anything because they do not believe that the executive will do a good job. So when you see the executive investigating something, they too, the National Assembly will come up, they say they too, they want to investigate. You are inviting the NSA, you are inviting this, you are inviting that. And the truth is,
these are members of the panel.
There are some issues. In fact, I remember once, I think it was the House of Reps that somebody faced, and they wanted him to divulge some information. He said, look, some of this information that you are asking me to provide, if I provide it, it will compromise national security. So they don't even, and sometimes we even see even the quality of questioning, leaves more to be desired. I'm not opposed to them investigating unwholesome acts by the executive. But at this time, they should wait until this result, until the outcome of this investigation is there for all to see.
The timing
before they now, the timing. So because simultaneously, as they are facing these people, you are calling them. It was when Babashir Lawal didn't attend their own sitting that they now released that report. Of course, Babashir Lawal, from the evidence before us, has not really covered himself in glory. Yeah, in fact, he has ridiculed himself. But the truth is, you can't be calling these people at the same time when the president, the acting president, is also investigating the matter. That's what I quarrel with.
And there was a time they invited the Inspector General of Police. There's always this arrest warrant that they have. They'll call on the IGP to arrest whoever fails to cover.
No, Ayo, how many people have been so arrested? And in any event, you see, we must quickly draw the attention of the National Assembly to the fact that it's fast eroding its core values. An investigation is ongoing. I think it makes a lot of sense for you to wait for the outcomes of this investigation. Where you are not ready to wait for the outcomes of this, how many pieces do you want to tear one person into? Now, I want to also take this further by saying that where adequate care is not taken on the part of the National Assembly, all these unfounded threats that they want to issue all of the time will just become idle threats in their face.
People will not take them
because nobody will take them serious anymore. Your oversight role starts when an obvious error has been established, identified, or when a matter is not prosecuted the way it ought to be prosecuted. Now you won't wait for those adults constitutionally with these responsibilities before you begin to invoke and threaten your power to arrest, your power to issue warrant of arrest and all of that. And when you go to the Senate, you find that the bulk of them are not educated on even the matters they want to investigate.
Of course, yes.
You find that the people that are summoning to come, defend them, are ending up educating them. So for me, I think it's an extension of this same EFCC razzmatazz. Do you understand it?
Let's just be
saying doing something. Let
me quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this breather. Welcome back. Well, Dari, even the suspended Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, IOK, was invited by these lawmakers. And we've seen elder statesmen come out to tell us that the less we know about this NIA thing, the better for us. And connected to what we're talking about, EFCC not being too circumspect when they get information that they want to, the media hype and everything. So from the feelers we're getting, we know something went wrong with that Ikoyi house money.
Yeah, you see, like Jide said, every nation has its own way of handling issues like this when they find themselves. If it were not necessary, nobody would advise that this issue of Ikoyi gate should be handled with circumspect. And if a committee, a presidential committee at that, is already on this matter, one will expect the National Assembly, the House of Reps now, to be patient enough for us to see the outcome of such the work of such a committee. Because inviting the NIA DG to the floor of the House for him to be questioned by committee members who have little or no knowledge about international relations, about secret services, certain questions should not be asked, and certain answers shouldn't be provided in the open. And I am sure that the presidency have been properly briefed about such. That is why the Osinbajo committee is even carrying on its assignment with some discretion. And so one will expect that the national, and it also borders on this mutual suspicion between our arms of
agency rivalry.
Our arms of government. I think the earlier this government, now I want to address this government as a whole now, there is need for it to clean its house. The National Assembly must always be in a hurry, not to provide checks and balance now as it should do, but to checkmate the executive. And the judiciary is always waiting in the wings, like vultures, to checkmate the National Assembly. Then we'll find all these arms working at
dealing with each other.
Working at cross purposes. Why am I saying this? What we will end up with at the end of the day is an unfinished business again. Protracted, unfinished. Okay, we'll go to the National Assembly.
Let's just go to our last topic now. The last November, President Muhammadu Buhari met with some leaders from the Niger Delta. That's in a bid to quell the uprising in the region. Months after Vice President Osinbajo visited the region to broker a peace deal. Today, the meeting has yielded huge returns. Now, the federal government has released an additional 30 billion naira for the smooth running of the ongoing amnesty program. With this, the federal government of Nigeria has voted 556 billion naira to 55 billion naira to keeping peace in their region. That's 55 billion naira, and reintegrate repentant militants and develop infrastructure to make good. It's promised. The Vice President's office says the Buhari administration has paid up all the backlog of that monthly stipend due to ex-militants up to the end of 2016. What does this say about this government? Gentlemen, we have this repentant militant that has been placed on this salary, and then their allowances and everything, I think for close to a year now, and that's has fueled the restiveness in that region. With this cash coming out now.
Oh, you see, one good turn they say deserves another. We told our government that, look, force was not the solution. It's the same way some people will call in on the program and be telling the president to go and bomb them. What do they think they are, this and that? And we said force would not solve the problem. The Niger Delta area is so volatile. That's not a place where you go and you'll be dropping bombs. It's not a place where you send helicopter gunships, because it won't solve the problem. So we had the situation where the army sent gunboats, sent its men. You want to be using gunboats in the creeks. Creeks, the waters are not deep, so how do they move freely? Some of our soldiers drowned and were rescued by the militants that they were supposed to kill. That it was an embarrassing situation for Operation Crocodile Smile. I'm wondering whether anyone has ever seen a crocodile smiling or even crying. Because crocodile shedding tears. But this is Nigeria. So we had that situation. And then reason prevailed that let us even engage these people. Because all the time that we were flexing our muscles, threatening them, the bombings continued. Bombing of export terminals and other oil assets.
Very vital.
Yes. You know, because the truth is, the Jaws, who are the epicenter of this whole thing, they have one advantage over the rest of us. Their access to the sea. So we must bear that in mind. So by the time Oshibajo began to engage them, they saw the need for peace. Remember, we did this even before Buhari took over. The bombing of gas pipelines for our power plants, they stopped, and power situation improved. It wasn't for anything. It wasn't any, what they call it, body language. No, no body language. They engaged the leaders. In that. Oshibajo himself confessed that we engaged the leaders of the Niger Delta region. That was why they stopped the bombing at that time. Now they've engaged them again, and they stopped the bombing. It is part of what the Senate recommended as part of its 20-point agenda for the revamping of the Nigerian economy, for us to engage these people, for us to achieve peace, calm frayed nerves in the Niger Delta area. Because when we calm frayed nerves, the bombings will stop. When the bombings stop, our oil output will go up. When our oil output goes up, we will earn more foreign exchange. When we earn more foreign exchange, we'll be able to spend more money on infrastructure. We'll be able to reflate our economy and move us out of recession. So we've done the right thing. Now the president, having seen clearly that these people have stopped the bombing, having seen clearly that we have relative peace, has now moved ahead as a good leader to say, okay, this amnesty program that I threatened to stop, that I didn't pay you people for some time, I'm even increasing the funding. So President Muhammadu Buhari, God bless him where he is, where he's recuperating. He took a fantastic decision, and we will continue to get the dividends of this good decision by God's grace.
And this will help boost our economy, because our economy is so dependent on the crude oil. It's a
mono economy, no doubt about that. So this peace, must continue, and one must give it to the federal government. Personally, I believe the federal government is a responsive government. On this program, we have had cause to, advocate that this Niger Delta people must be given a proper and complete sense of belonging and participation. And some of the policy implementations in recent times are geared in this direction. They have been promised to be involved in the modular refinery concept processes, which means they can now also begin to look at themselves as potential refinery professionals. The Maritime University has been put on high gear. It's been put on high gear for operations. There are program plans in the fund to train pilots, train aviation engineers, train automobile mechanics, and what have you. So I'm seeing the kind of holistic suggestions we told the government to consider, playing out now, and therefore.
In fact, remember the Maritime University issue on this program. We condemned the actions of Rotimi Amechi and said, look, there's nothing wrong in letting that university be. Baramotu Kingdom has done so much for Nigeria in terms of the wealth of this country. So why should you deny them what they deserve?
My own fear is that now this is like a freebie. 65,000 naira will be given to the, since they've started this amnesty program, whether they work or not. Some of our civil servants, they can't even get 18,000 naira. And because they're ex and retired militants, repentant militants, we start giving these boys. And another region tomorrow, maybe it's the OPC people.
Let's wait until that time. That is the argument of people.
When we get to the bridge.
Let's look at it this way. Thinking is freebies. Well, I quite don't agree.
Whether it's freebie or not, it's an agreement that you reach.
I don't think there is anything we will even do for the people of the Niger Delta that will be too much.
Exactly.
I was in the creeks recently.
That will be enough.
To do a story. And I tell you,
the degradation and all that.
I mean, and I want to use this opportunity to quickly say, it's a beautiful thing adding money to the amnesty program, ensuring that the Maritime University is on track. In addition to that, the Ogoni cleanup. The federal government should take it very seriously. It was flagged up, but sincerely, I spoke with some traditional rulers there recently who said they hope it will not just be another political statement. Nothing is happening yet. The federal government should please ensure that that cleanup is
Begins
properly
and
commenced and executed appropriately. Talking about the 65,000 naira per month for these guys, if this program now is properly implemented in such a way that we should define it to have a beginning and a projected
It has
timeline. Let's follow it dutifully.
Because that's what you agreed with them.
By ensuring that those who are not on this, who are not collecting this money now, they are not supposed to be abandoned. Let us empower them to in other ways so that they don't see themselves as
let's even develop the area better.
Develop the area.
They don't have water, they don't have good roads, nothing.
No good road, nothing. The area is not economically viable.
It can be.
If we make the area economically viable, we will discourage militancy. Also discourage rural urban migration that is making the place even desolate. So I mean,
yes, I believe I believe that on the total scale, it is important that government sees through these policies with timelines. These people cannot perpetually remain expecting stipends.
Yes.
So it must be timed, and the implementation must be diligent and conscientious.
Your last take on this?
There's already a timeline.
Okay.
What angered people was an attempt to truncate the program before the end of that timeline. That was what angered the people, and they took to militancy.
Or the impression that Buhari might not continue.
Buhari does not like them, because they are not part of the people who voted for him. But you see, a president has to be the president of all.
Nigeria.
That was why we suggested that he should even visit the area and show them that, look, I'm your father, I'm the father of all as the president of Nigeria, So now Shibajo has done that, and we are seeing the results. We said it at that time. Many people didn't believe us. They were just pushing that there should be war. Meanwhile, even during the Nigerian Civil War, some of the bitterest battles that we fought, against Biafra were in that area. So when people who have no sense of history continue to mislead our leaders, I just shake my head. But I'm happy that sanity has prevailed. Good judgment has prevailed, and we are seeing the result of all that now.
That's how it should be.
All right, thank you, Dari. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you, Otumba. Thank you, and thank you, Babajide. As we coast home, I'd like to invite you to another special edition of the program on May the 29th, 2017, as we do a midterm appraisal of the Muhammadu Buhari's government. Venue is our studio here, Continental Way off CMD Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria. Time is 4 p.m. To hang out with us that day, just send your name, phone number, and location to journalisthangout@tvcnews.tv or 08032645899, 08032645899. I look forward to receiving you then. That's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangouts on YouTube. That's youtube.com/tvcnewsnigeria. Our feedback channel is journalisthangout@tvcnews.tv. I am Ayodele Ozubaku. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.